In 2012, I had an injury leading into the Olympic trials, and I fell just short of making the team. You have 4 years to think about that moment. This was my year to make the team. And then it all changed.
She's one of the best that I have seen in 43 years of track and field.
My time wasn't right where I wanted it to be, but it was still a good race.
I'm looking for her to hopefully see her in the Olympics one day.
2015 was a really good year for me. I was on top of my game, feeling the best I've ever felt as an athlete. And then it literally felt like I fell off a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Yours or mine? I was a big
You might
baby.
be tiny now.
I haven't grown since.
I have an IUD that's supposed to be 99% effective. Basically, the IUD failed.
She's kicking your ribs.
That's what, yes, hit me in the ribs.
Yeah. So.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Luckily, nothing was wrong, you know? We're having a baby.
A lot of female athletes end up having to choose between starting a family or going after their athletic goals. I don't see why I had to choose. It really just became about, well, do I have enough time to still get ready for the Olympic trials?
The Olympic standard is the minimum time that you have to have run to be allowed to compete in the Olympics. The last 2 races before Sarah became pregnant, she ran the Olympic standard in the 1500, and she didn't run it by a little bit. She broke it by a lot. And it's been some unlucky years, some unlucky injuries at the wrong time, and she's fought back and been very, very close.
Sarah Bowman joins the leaders. Rowberry coming up to challenge Simpson for the second spot. They're approaching the turn for home in the final lap. It's going to be tight for second.
This is one of her last chances to try and make an Olympic team.
That's what makes it so compelling. People don't think she can do it.
Okay, use your other foot as you need. All right, that toe down.
It's a lofty goal. It's not normal, but she's not normal. Her husband's not normal. Her talents aren't normal, so it's a perfect fit.
Two, one, good.
To my knowledge, nobody's gotten ready for that level of an event with only 3 months to prepare after giving birth.
Sarah Brown is not your average Olympian, and a lot of people wonder whether running at such speeds is safe at this stage.
Exercise is good for pregnant women. They have to exercise, but not that extreme. That's pretty extreme.
It's maybe a little unrealistic.
I think there's fear that by pushing her body so hard, she might endanger the baby.
People definitely have a lot of opinions about motherhood, and they aren't afraid to try and tell you them. Selfish bitch thinking of herself, not her baby. She's already a whack job. Can't imagine what kind of parent she'll be. Even though as much as I knew those comments made no sense and they weren't coming from a background of any kind of knowledge, they still kind of got to me a little bit. It's coming from my own fears and my own vulnerability of, am I gonna be a good mom?
So your weight's going up, which is great, so we know that you're getting enough caloric intake, which is great, okay? Baby's nice and active, so that's also wonderful. When you're actually working out, check your heart rate periodically. As long as you stayed below 90% of your maximal heart rate, you were fine when you were working out.
I think at the most she's ever getting up to is threshold level or lower, which threshold level for an athlete of hers is like 75%.
Okay,
so we're
so
well
it's right.
under that 90%.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
This child's health has been at the forefront of everything we do. And if there's ever a question, we don't do it. Right now, the importance is to make sure that her structural system is supported for the body that she's carrying at this moment. We got to come out of this healthy. She's got to be physically healthy, the baby's got to be healthy, and we have to be ready to work when it counts. Of course, you're the one doing all the heavy lifting.
I don't even think that any of this would be possible if it wasn't my husband coaching me. He's an accomplished runner himself.
Darren Brown, running for a sub-4 minute mile the first time.
Darren and his dad are actually the first father-son duo to have broken the 4-minute mile barrier.
Darren Brown, 3:59! The first father-son duo!
He gave up his own running career to focus on my training.
All right, we'll slow up a little bit. Just kind of get your composure.
If I make this team, Darren's made this team. I'm not just running for myself anymore.
Sarah's here in labor. She's actually being induced. When people have their bag of water broken, they're actually more at a risk for actually developing infection. And we obviously don't want that to happen to her or to the baby.
We had a little bit of a scare just because the fever that initially caused us to come in this morning just wasn't really breaking, and unless the baby's heart rate comes down, they don't want to risk leaving it too high, and so they'd want to usher her through to have a cesarean section instead.
She needed to be delivered quickly, and so I kept looking over at her heart rate monitor. I think I just kind of locked down on like, okay, tell me what I need to do to make this happen. The moment, they laid her on my stomach, it was like just a transition. I mean, this internal instinct kind of takes over.
Should we change that first?
It's kind of this like innocence, as a family, you're like, you just like a beginning, maybe.
excited to be back out here?
Yeah.
Just work on the piston motion for right now. Up, down, up, down. We just need to be cautious in our approach, and we need to understand where you are, and so that's what today's all about.
For me, this is about getting over my hesitation of like post-baby running and making sure everything stays.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there though. Like, one, where's this all of a sudden lack of confidence coming from? You were running 12 miles 2 weeks ago with a baby in your belly, okay? No matter how physically fit you are, if your mind won't let you go there, if your mind doesn't believe you can accomplish it, you won't. Get into it, nice and easy. Just off feel, forget your watch. You seem like you're getting a little bit more smooth. Yeah.
It definitely felt like, wow, I got a long way to go. I could not step on the starting line and feel like I belong.
85. Good. Very good. Yeah, she's out cold.
You watched Mom's first workout, but you slept through it, huh? Run.
Good. Nice job.
We moved back to my hometown in Virginia to live with my parents because we knew that we would need that support. I know that what we're doing is aggressive. Like, we're trying to do something that's quite a feat.
It's gonna be a balance of Sarah being able to sleep, but us needing to take care of the needs of this child. It detaches.
You definitely do, as an athlete, struggle with those moments of like, why am I doing this? Those moments are the scariest moments because you don't want that side to win out. I just want to prove people wrong that like, you really can be a mom and continue to work hard towards your own goals.
I do believe that there are people who are counting Sarah out, but they will soon see that they shouldn't.
Good. .14.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really good.
There's no halfway in this commitment. She's either all in or she's not gonna do it. That's how she operates.
There you go. Flat back. Good. Just try and flush out the stride, keep it even. She ended up doing a couple of workouts that I would have called turning point workouts. They were workouts that looked like the Sarah of old. I mean, they were impressive. For her to be at 434, 433 mile shape, 6 weeks postpartum, really happy. Really happy.
I was doing a workout. I would like have kind of this like tight feeling in my back, and it would almost like feel like it knocked kind of the wind out of me.
How you doing, Sarah?
Great. I think the worst case scenario would be that I have a stress fracture in my lower back.
So tell me a little bit about the pain and all. I mean, what's...
I think of pain in terms of can I run or not. So I don't necessarily notice things until it's inhibiting me.
What was uncovered were the 2 stress fractures in the spine and the vertebrae, and then there's one in your pelvis in the sacrum where the spinal cord kind of fits into the pelvis.
Based on the initial MRIs we got back, Sarah has postpartum osteoporosis as a result of being pregnant. Calcium levels, bone density, none of that has ever been an issue for Sarah.
The estimates are that a lot of this is genetics. 3/4 of this is probably genetically predetermined.
All right. Thank you so much.
It's nice meeting you.
Great to meet you as well, Dr. Dillon.
It's inspirational what she did, and I don't think that the training has been the cause of it.
She was quickly becoming a favorite to represent the United States in the 1500 meters at the Rio Olympics. With her husband, Darren, who was also her coach guiding her last spring, Sarah was having the best stretch of her career.
Is this him?
Hello.
Hey, Dr. Steele.
I put you on speaker and I have Darren here too.
At L3-4, inside the nerve sac, is a small area of tissue that the radiologist suggested might be something called a meningioma. So when it's inside the spinal cord or the nerve sac itself, I typically would recommend you all see Dr. Mark Shaffrey at UVA, who has a special interest in spinal tumors, and his opinion would probably guide the next step on what to do, and it might include biopsy or removal.
We've got actionable next steps, so that's the important thing right now. What's happening next step? The reality is she has a tumor in her spinal column. Worst case scenario, if something like this was cancerous and was growing rapidly and put pressure on the spinal column and the nerves, it can cause permanent damage. It can cause paralysis.
I mean, it just puts a different perspective on life in general, because even with training for the Olympic trials, like the Olympics, even if I became an Olympian, that doesn't bring long-term happiness. Those are moments. And then when you're dealing with the health kind of scare and these issues of the unknown, like, you realize what you really want to be around for. And no matter like what I do in life, like, she's gonna be one of my biggest accomplishments, and I want the joy of watching that accomplishment do great things herself. Yeah, 'cause you will, won't ya? And I want that privilege to be there for it all.
Glorious day, Lord. I want to thank you for The ability to do the things we love, Lord. The ability to spend time as family, Lord. To have friends and family.
The whole thing with me getting ready for the Olympic trials is about time. And time is sometimes not on your side. But I need to keep seeing this goal through until I know that it's not possible.
We've been told that what we're doing is crazy for almost a year now. And the reality is, we were staying as fit as we could throughout a pregnancy. Here we go. What Sarah's doing now is truly crazy. It's inspiring.
All the way through.
But crazy.
Good.
I'm running at the Olympic trials. Finally.
Sarah definitely still has a stress fracture in her sacrum. She will be competing on broken bones. The doctor gave us reassurance that while nothing's guaranteed, as long as she stays pain-free, we know we're progressing.
I know that for me, I just have to see it through. This is the hand I was dealt. This is what I'm playing with, and I'm taking it.
Hi there.
Your behavior, you're listening to me. Let's start walking again. Same thing, like immediately. And then she started to vomit and gag because it was like so. The girls I'm competing against have been, going through the whole process, the fall training, the winter training towards the trials. I mean, so I'm definitely not at an advantage when it comes to what I went through this year. But I can play out the worst case scenario. In running, when you are just really behind the pack and you're bringing up the caboose, but you're not even connected to the other girls, we call that going out the back door. And that would be my worst case scenario. But you're never going to know unless you put yourself in it. So all I'm doing right now is putting myself in it. I'm giving myself a shot.
So basically today is the first of 3 rounds, and she has to finish top 6 in her heat to make it on. I'm okay with you going to the back. All right? I don't want you to think that I think you need to get super aggressive in the first round. Just don't be stuck when the kick happens. One last thing, most important, kick ass.
gold for the USA Championships in 2014, running for New Balance, Sarah Brown. Running hip 8.
The women's 1500, 3 3/4 laps around the track.
When the gun went off, she immediately went to the middle of the pack, and she put herself in a position to compete.
2 laps to go as the rain continues to fall here in Eugene.
With 450, 500 meters to go, I noticed her stride falter to one side, and I knew something was wrong. From that moment on, I prayed that it wasn't her back, it wasn't her hip, it wasn't something severe.
You heard the bell, the final lap.
Her being an isolated athlete, lagging behind the pack, in noticeable pain, is a hard thing to watch.
Sarah Brown too really struggling towards the back of the field as well. Remember the first 6 going through by right. It's pretty soft qualifying.
See the replay of the ball on the scoreboard as we go.
I wanted nothing more than to be out on the track and be next to her in that moment. She's watching everything she's worked for slip right out of her hands. When the race finished, my only concern was to get out of those stands and get across that stadium and bring Abigail to Sarah.
The last 500, my Achilles just locked, and so your whole ankle kind of locks. And I mean, ultimately, like I'm disappointed in my finish, but I'm not disappointed because I actually I know what every step took, and none of those steps were easy. If you have a dream, see it through, no matter what the obstacles are. Is there a way I can just go see them for a second and then come back?
Mama did good. That's great. I know that was hard. I don't know if you can tell.
I think that having Abigail has changed my approach to running. I can walk off the track in the moments when track can be very disappointing and into the arms of my family.